can't be the only one whose YouTube homepage gives them Big Brother is watching you vibes. These I don't dream of labor, I don't have a dream job videos started popping up on my YouTube homepage a few weeks ago now, and once I got over that initial unease and just like shock of how eerily accurate YouTube was reading my mind, I explored these videos and I found that the messages that these creators were sharing in these videos of I simply don't dream of working a traditional 9-to-5 job really resonated with me and gave me a lot to think about, especially as someone who just finished their third university degree and is preparing to enter the workforce, as one does. So yes, I would love to join the I don't dream of labor discussion because critiquing society and challenging the status quo are like my favorite pastimes. But I also find it quite interesting that the main thread throughout these videos is why does capitalism force us to work these awful 9-to-5 jobs that don't provide us with any meaning or purpose? If capitalism wasn't a thing and we didn't have to work, think of all the other incredible things we could do with that extra 40 hours a week, from spending more time with our loved ones, spending more time on hobbies, traveling, volunteering, developing and improving as a person. And I fully and wholeheartedly agree with and support this message, but I think there is a very important point that's missing here, and we're going to be getting into that in this video. And I'm going to offer some solutions for all of us at the end, because really, what's the point of pointing out problems if we don't also offer solutions to them? One of the main themes in these I Don't Dream of Labor videos is questioning, like, why is it that we have to choose a single career at 18 years old to do for the next 40 plus years, which usually involves sitting at a desk doing very mundane work for 40 hours a week, every single week? Like, this is a very unfair ask of an 18-year-old, first of all. And also, this is just not how I want to be spending my one and only life. Like, this is not my idea of a happy and successful and fulfilled life. Again, fully agree. When I went into my first corporate job a few years ago, I knew from day one on the job that my mental well-being was going to deteriorate within those cubicle walls. But I stayed anyways because I thought, well, what are my other options? This is how society is structured. I need to work so that I can live, and maybe work is just supposed to suck. But one can only handle doing so many hours of a job that they hate before they start questioning, like, what am I doing here? Which is why I'm such a big fan of these I Don't Dream of Labor videos, because they really encourage you to question this pre-written life script of go to university to get a prestigious degree, to get a prestigious job, work for 40 years in that same job, and then retire and die. And this was very much the narrative going through my head at my previous corporate job. I was constantly questioning, like, what am I doing here? Why do I have to do this? I was promised safety and comfort, but all I feel is stress and misery. Like, why do I have to relegate my life to sitting in a cubicle surrounded by people I don't necessarily like, doing work that feels so robotic and mundane? Like,
why is this the way that things have to be? Why do we have to sell our labor to make money just to survive? Like, this is not the life that I wanted, and surely there must be another way.
So yes, I fully share that disillusionment with work and careers that my fellow creators are experiencing, and I really appreciate that they're encouraging us to really think about what would we do with our life if we didn't have to work, and outside of work, what does it mean for us to live a good life? And I've been thinking about this question a lot over the past year, partly because I've kind of been forced to. So I'm actually one of the millions of people, most of whom are women, who lost their job over this panini, and this has actually been a very positive experience for me for a number of reasons. First of all, it really forced me to reflect on work, the role that it plays in my life, but also just how it's structured in society. And it made me realize that the main reason I'm pursuing a traditional career is for stability. And stability is the reason that a lot of people pursue a traditional career too. But what I realized from losing my job is that even that's not guaranteed. The very backbone of these corporations that are providing these stable jobs is, say it with me, capitalism. And capitalism doesn't care about you as an individual and your well-being. Capitalism only cares about your labor. And if these corporations don't need your labor or can't afford it anymore, Bye, good luck out there. And for that reason, I've realized that I can't depend on these organizations to provide me with stable wages to live. And that was the whole point of going down this path in the first place. So like, what do we do now? So in my attempt to never again develop a full dependence on another organization to be able to just live, I started to carve out an entrepreneurial path for myself and create my own income through online streams. And I know, I sound like every other self-help guru out there telling you to start an online business so you can quit your 9 to 5 and live your dream life. And I promise you, I will not be reiterating that message. We are going somewhere else with this train of thought. While I am in love with the independence and freedom that this option of work offers me, and I think I finally understand what people mean when they say,
find something you love doing and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
but as much as I am in love with this path, something about it has not really sat well with me either. I can't help but think about how this choice of mine to stop participating in the traditional corporate 9 to 5 work structure is very selfish and individualistic of me, and really the only reason why it's possible for me to pursue this path of entrepreneurship is because I am in an extremely privileged socioeconomic position right now where I don't necessarily need to worry about getting immediate income. And you know, when I see, like, for example, the cleaners at my local grocery store, I can't help but wonder, like, what do they think of their job? What do they think of the work that they do? Are they also disappointed that their job didn't bring them happiness and meaning? I wonder if the thought of I don't dream of labor has ever crossed their minds. Have they ever stopped to imagine, or do they even have the luxury to stop to imagine what their life would look like if they quit their job and instead started making money online so that they could live their dream life? And yes, being able to imagine your dream life is indeed a luxury. People can have different reasons for working and different things that they're looking to get out of their work. And these reasons can largely differ based on someone's socioeconomic location. And for a lot of people in lower socioeconomic classes, a job is simply just seen as a way to make money to avoid economic hardship. For others, work is supposed to be something that brings them meaning and fulfillment and happiness. And for a lot of these individuals who have this expectation of work, they do belong to a higher socioeconomic status. And the creators of these I Don't Dream of Labor videos very much falls into this category of highly educated, socioeconomically privileged individuals. Hey guys, so editing me is gonna pop in here and clarify a few things. So first of all, with the cleaner example, by no means do I mean to seem like I'm looking down on cleaners and saying like, oh, poor underprivileged cleaner having to do such a shitty job to just make money. I actually really admire these individuals and their resilience, and I'm sure there are a lot of cleaners who actually enjoy aspects of their job and may be very content doing the work that they do. And I also don't mean to generalize and say that the lower class only work to avoid economic hardship and the higher class only work to find meaning and purpose. Of course, it's not so black and white. What I'm referring to here is more of a Maslow's hierarchy of needs situation where the working class individuals, like our friend the grocery store cleaner, tend to be more concerned with meeting their basic needs for food, shelter, and clothing. And because they spend more of their energy worrying about these lower tier needs, they don't necessarily have the energy to even start worrying about higher tier needs like self-actualization and finding their purpose. Whereas with higher class individuals, like our corporate worker friends who have made these I Don't Dream of Labor videos, tend to have their lower needs met already through the income they made at their 9 to 5s. So they don't need to spend as much energy worrying about meeting their basic needs, and this frees up their energy to then worry about meeting higher needs of self-actualization and finding your purpose. And based on this Maslow's hierarchy, someone who is worried about not being able to live their dream life and reach their full potential because they have to work a 9 to 5 that they hate wouldn't necessarily have this worry in the first place if they were still worrying about getting their basic needs met. So what I'm trying to set out to do here is to really encourage us to reflect on the privilege behind the messaging in these I Don't Dream of Labor videos, and that this conversation is inaccessible to a large chunk of the population. And I really want to emphasize here that pursuing meaning and self-actualization is a privilege. I strongly believe that as human beings, we all deserve self-actualization, whether you're a cleaner at a grocery store or a university-educated young professional with a brand name job. And I think that the current I Don't Dream of Labor discussion is very much focused on encouraging the already privileged young corporate worker to self-actualize, and it's leaving out a large portion of the population who isn't so privileged. Again, I am still a big fan of these videos, and I fully include myself in this category of privileged individuals trying to find their purpose and stuff. And at the same time, I think we need to expand our solutions to include more than just us, the more privileged, leaving our 9-to-5s to pursue things that give our lives more meaning and purpose. We have to think about how we can also include the group of people who aren't as socioeconomically privileged, who don't even have the luxury to worry about a job holding them back from living their dream life, into our solution. We all deserve to reach our full potential and live happy and fulfilled lives, and that's not going to happen for any of us if capitalism is going to continue to be a thing. I don't dream of labor for anyone. I don't want to see workers being treated so unfairly and being paid like shit for the work that they do. I don't want to hear any more about increasing unemployment rates. I can't stand to see another article on how to overcome burnout. I could go on and on listing all the issues with our current system, but one thing that is very clear and that is also highlighted in these I Don't Dream of Labor videos is that our current system is not working. It is incredibly unsustainable, not only for its workers who are getting burnt out after just a couple of years in a corporate job, or who are still living paycheck to paycheck even though they're doing back-breaking manual labor every single day, but also when we're so focused on growth and profit, it's just so unsustainable for our planet and our ecosystem, and that's a conversation for another time. So what I propose and what I invite us to all start doing is to really question this system that we're living in and how we've been taught to think about work and the role that it plays in our lives. And this questioning is really the first step to unlearning so that we can then build a new system where people aren't suffering in the work that they do anymore, and we can all have all the self-actualization that we want, no matter our level of privilege in our current system. And I know this might seem like a very radical idea and might seem crazy to some more traditionally minded people, but really, how radical can it be? Capitalism was created out of thin air at some point in time. Is it really that unimaginable to invent a new system? One that's not so myopically focused on just profit and productivity, and instead one that's more focused on supporting the well-being and self-actualization of its workers. Our world is emerging from a 1.5-year long global panini that has had a massive impact on work, and for some, the role that work plays in their lives has completely transformed as they've brought their work home. For others, they've realized that their job is absolutely essential in order to keep society afloat. And I think we could take all of these learnings about work that we've realized over this panini to then restructure and build a new system. We have such a ripe opportunity here to rethink and rebuild our system that's going to support us to have more healthy, happy, and fulfilled lives. And I don't know exactly what this is gonna look like. I don't have the perfect solution for what a non-capitalist post-panini world is gonna look like, and I'm definitely still grappling with this moral dilemma of wanting to be my own boss, but also wanting to see people treated more equally. We are still trying to consolidate that, but we are figuring it out. But without question, the first step and first solution to all of this is to begin that questioning and unlearning and relearning process. And actually, as I was exploring these I Don't Dream of Labor videos, I came across a Natty Nooks video, and she recommended a lot of really great books on this topic, and I cannot wait to dive into them. I just ordered 2 of her recommendations. The first is Work, A History of How We Spend Our Time by James Sussman, and the second is Less is More, How Degrowth Will Save the World. and I highly encourage you to check out her video. I think she did a fabulous job, and I'll leave a link to her video in the description. So that brings us to the end of this video on why I don't dream of labor for anybody. Thank you so much for listening, and I really do hope that you'll accept my invitation to join me on this journey of questioning and unlearning, and that you'll join me in reading some of these books so that we can start to build a brighter future for all of us. Let's discuss this further in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on the I don't dream of labor trend and your thoughts on capitalism. As always, I hope you're staying healthy and staying safe, and I will see you next time. Bye.